You are listening to the Run the Rack Outdoors podcast, where we take an all-in, leave no doubt approach to all things adventure hunting. From the big woods to the high country.
How about that?
Let's learn together as we discuss with our expert guests on what it takes to be successful in the backcountry. I'm your host, Weston Homa. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. So this episode is a special one because it is live from the mountains in Idaho. So this was on my bear hunt that I just got back from last week. So Idaho spring bear, spot and stalk. I packed up my podcast equipment and did a remote episode on the last day of the hunt up on the mountain. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. I was out there hunting with a few guys, but I sat down with my buddy Ryan Holmes. So Ryan is originally from New York, but he now lives out in Idaho, and he is a backcountry hunter. He is a former combat controller in the Air Force. He is also an operator of the Digiscope company OnGlass adapters. So that's what we were running out there. That's how I get all my digiscoping pictures and videos of all the animals that we're glassing. I really like the product. I'm a huge fan of it. So we not only recap the bear hunt and things we've learned, we also get into the product OnGlass as well. So if you guys want to go check it out, OnGlassAdapters.com, you can check out their website, check out their social media, and give it a try. So really enjoyed this one, being up on the mountain with Ryan. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Also, other things going on. So Total Archery Challenges was this past weekend. So I literally flew back through the night, like on no sleep, had to go back to work, and then was up at Total Archery Challenge for the rest of the weekend. And really fun, though. I mean, I love connecting with people, talking to everybody up there, meeting people, and just talking all things hunting and bow hunting and archery and all these things we love to do. I'm also now under 3 weeks out from Grandma's Marathon in Duluth, Minnesota. So again, that goal of 2 hours, 50 minutes to get me to Boston in 2026 is still the goal there. It's kind of tough, like mentally, like feel like I did my peak training right before I left for Idaho, was really like locked in. And then I did this bear hunt. I was gone for a week, and then tack, and I'd still had been running as soon as I got back, but I feel like I need to string a good week or two together here and then taper down a little bit before the race. So that's what I got going on. And then also, so I got these hats. So here's one in gray. It's a leather patch with the Run the Rack logo. I also have the camo versions. That's what I wore out on the hunt. So I put some pictures on my Instagram. I'm working on getting these on my website, runtherack.outdoors.com. But if you're interested in one, just shoot me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, and I will get you one sent out. So that's pretty much it for this week. I really hope you guys enjoyed this remote episode live up on the mountain. I really enjoyed doing it. I thought it was really cool. And I plan to keep doing these like on my hunts and in other adventures I get into. So let me know what you think. And that's it. So let's all have a great week, everybody. Let's leave no doubt. Let's give it all we got. Let's work as hard as we can this week, and let's run the rack. All right. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Catch you later. All right, everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of the Run the Rack Outdoors podcast. We're live spring bear hunting from the mountains in Idaho, and I'm here with Ryan Holmes. Ryan, how we feeling today?
Feeling good. Can't believe you packed all this stuff up here. More dedicated than I would be.
Yeah. So I was like, I think it'd be just really cool to do like a remote episode just from up on the mountain. I was like, okay, dude, it's the last day. I'm going to bring everything up here. If it works out, it works out. But we got a good glassing spot right now. I like the area we're in, and we got some time. So we'll throw it on and we'll chop it up, recap the bear hunt so far. It's been a good hunt. But if you want to do a little intro, though, so where are you from? Started hunting? Who you're tied up with now and everything like that?
Yeah, so originally from upstate New York, joined the military, did a semester of college, joined, and then moved all over after that. Was a combat controller, so I spent a lot of time moving from, I think, started in Texas, ended up Florida, England, and then North Carolina. Hunted a lot as a kid, and then I think my time in the military got me more accustomed to the backpacking and that type of work. So started going out west with my cousin and some other friends to do some hunts while I was in. And then my wife and I decided that we would move out to the Northwest when we finished up, and we finally got up here in August to Idaho. And then now we're residents out this way. So we're in the same boat, getting accustomed to living out here. But yeah, we've done some Western hunts over the years through like Wyoming and Colorado and been to Idaho. So this is where we just ended up on.
You spent a little bit of time guiding in Arizona.
Yeah. So when I finished up, I'll say we moved to Arizona when I got to North Carolina. My wife was also active duty. She was flying A-10. So we went to Arizona to finish up her last year and a half or so. And that was kind of planned so we can move up to Northwest from there a little closer than going to Georgia. And then when we got down there, I knew that I didn't want to jump into another job right away, that I didn't really know what I liked doing, what I wanted to grow up, what I would be. So I just was basically high school, military, and then it's like, what next? So I knew I liked hunting a lot, and my wife was still flying. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to try this out. So I started going out with some outfits there, and then took my guide test and started guiding in the Southwest there. A lot of it is just coos and muley down there in like Southwest Tucson, in that area. So did that, realized that the guiding clients wasn't really what I was interested in.
Yeah.
And it was more so hunting with more like-minded people, I would say. Not that the clients weren't like that, but it was more so I wanted to hunt with like my old teammates. So
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough down there to have, there's a shop, if you guys are in Arizona, check it out. It's called Stick Sniper. Caleb Brewer is the owner of that, prior Special Forces guy. Awesome dude. Runs the shop. So he hooked me up with like getting my bow set up, and they're constantly tuning, always like helping me out and like let me try out new gear. And then we got more into it. And then there were some nonprofits that he let me into to help out with like guiding guys in the soft community and going out in that Southwest area. So it was awesome. So really fell in love with like that side of it. And then now hopefully sometime we can get that going up in the Northwest as well. So that's kind of the plan for now. But yeah, I did that for the year, and then we moved up here with my other job. So primary job up here that I do, day job, is I work with Air Force Special Warfare that are joining. So the Idaho region specifically, I train guys up for their physical standards they have to be at, and then they ship off. So work with like the Air Force Special Recruiters up this way. So, and then on the side of that, post my full-time job, I work with OnGlass. So there's a few combat controllers that are in it. Zach is the founder of it. Founded it in 2022. Currently is deployed for combat control. So a couple guys, me and another guy, Corey, are helping out with that while he's deployed and keeping that going until he gets back in September post his deployment. But yeah, it's been fun. So it's cool to jump into something. I didn't know Zach prior to that. I had a buddy that was a teammate that had said, hey, you like hunting, could you help out with my friend that's up this way? He could use it. So we just linked up that way, and then we've been doing that now, like around the full-time job, which it's been fun. So
yeah, dude, that's perfect. Yeah, because like we're all running the OnGlass system out here. For everybody that hasn't checked it out yet, it's a digiscoping system, and we got some good footage. We've been able to get on some animals, and we can definitely get more into the hunt. But the reason I'm out here with Ryan, and there's two more guys here with us, and we've been out here. We're on day 5. This is the last day of the hunt, chasing spring bear. I'm really out here. I don't really know these other guys, and I've met Ryan one time, so this is like the how we met story. So flashback, this is so funny just how life works, and then all of a sudden I'm out here bear hunting with these guys. So, okay, 2 summers ago, I was out in Colorado scouting for mule deer for a tag that I was going back out with my buddy and my dad with in October. But I just wanted to go out solo for a week to scout for mule deer. I come out of the mountains, and I want to look for a spot to get, shower, hotel, food. And I'm like, oh, Leadville, is kind of on my way out of here. That's awesome. The Leadville 100 race, like that's something I want to do, cool town to check out. So I pull in there. I'm having a hard time finding a hotel. Turns out Leadville was that weekend, which was cool to see. But I get this hotel, and I run into this guy just in the hotel, and I was wearing a Black Rifle Coffee shirt. It had some sort of military...
It had an ODA logo,
Okay.
Army Special Forces.
Yeah, so caught Ryan's eye, and he asked me if I was military, and I said no. And then you asked me if I was running the race. I said, I'm not doing that either. I'm out here scouting for deer. And then just like that, just kind of hit it off talking about hunting.
Yeah, so I was up there.
Yeah, you were there.
So I was a pacer. My friend's
Pacer.
running Leadville, so I did the Twin Lakes leg. I forget where we finished up, but it was about 30 miles or so. But before that, I was scouting for my hunt that I had in
Right.
southern Colorado. And on the way, I went to Leadville, and then ran into him in just a random hotel room. Yeah, I saw the Special Forces logo, and I asked him, like, hey, what team were you on? Or like, did you know? And then he's like, no, I wasn't. Just have this shirt from.
No,
I thought you said
I just like
friend.
the coffee.
I was like, okay, the honesty, that's cool. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
some stolen valor, but
Yeah. That's,
yeah, kicked it off there. Grabbed his number because he's like, oh, he's from PA. I'm from upstate New York. He's out
Right.
here, like he's big into the hunting, big into the ultras. I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's unique to see someone out that way. So grabbed his number and then fast forward again. This is like what, 3 months ago?
yeah. This past winter.
Yeah, haven't talked since then. Just
No.
busy with like the moves and stuff. And then I see like I'm watching like I don't know what my algos on YouTube are like just
Right.
hunting, and then I see like Weston Homa, and I'm like, I know that name. That is so weird. And then I saw you start talking in it, so I clicked on it. I was like, oh, no way. So like I went to my phone. I'm like, it is the guy I met. So I text you. I'm like, dude, you're showing up on my algos. And then from that, I was like, hey, we're gonna go hunt here soon if you want to come out. And then yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll come out and do a bear hunt.
Yeah.
So like it all started from that. Yeah. Yeah, just random meeting at Leadville and then seeing that channel. I was like, oh, it's super cool. Do you want to come out and do a bear hunt? And he's like, yeah, sure. Then just flew out here
Yeah.
just on a whim. So
Yeah.
and then he's with my cousin and my other really close friend Mike out here as well. So then we're all just doing this hunt together. So that's how it all started. But yeah, pretty crazy circumstances how it all lined up.
Yeah.
Now we're out here doing a podcast while we glass for bears and like our inside voices.
Right. Inside voices. We are kind of in this drainage a little bit, but like I said, just so funny how it kind of worked out because we were talking about more about hunting when he followed up and back and forth, and then he was like, "You got to come out for spring bear," and I'm like, and everybody's always like, "Oh yeah, one day," but the more I start to say like, "Screw it," no, I'm going like in life, the more fun I've been having, and truthfully, the more self-esteem you build that way. So I just said, "Screw it," like. Hey, what would that look like? What are you doing around Memorial Day? He said he got his cousin and his buddy coming out. Want to make something happen? And I was like, yeah, plane ticket bought. So here we are. And yeah, and I'm so glad to be here. So stoked. It's been a great camp. I mean, we've already talked a few times, like with your background and just kind of like how you carry yourself, and even these guys too. It just makes a camp so much better when everybody's like team focused, and you see that with everything. Like nobody's kind of just like off doing their thing while guys are setting up a shelter. Guys are always like going to get water. If people need water, they're helping each other out with like I'm putting my pack on, and immediately somebody's like, "Oh, got you. Yep. Like got you here." And just that team first mindset. I mean, I try, to keep that in mind out in the backcountry here, but that's like that's something so key to have for a good hunt camp, like similar to a military op, I'd imagine. Yeah.
It's always try to put the team gear first and then go into your individual stuff. You don't want to be the guy that's like gets back to camp and then you're the first guy like setting your meal up or like brushing your teeth before we get everything knocked out that we need to. So yeah, everyone's been like in that same mindset, which makes camp way much better.
For sure. And also the number one thing too, just a good positive attitude. I mean, we've had some nasty hikes, some thick stuff in here, but dude, everybody's always just like, actually, I've been loving how like, we just look up at each other and Ryan's just like, could be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah. And he just,
raining.
yeah, could be a lot of things, but take one step at a time, and then you finally get up on the glassing knob and everything's all good.
Yeah. It's not so bad when you get here. So can't beat the view either.
No. So great camp so far, great attitudes. But anyway, so this is the last day, 5-day little bear trip here. And just to recap though, so here's how we started. So first day, we did backpack in and we spiked out that first night. We got into this pretty big drainage that was really steep, and we could tell it was thick. I didn't think we realized how thick it could be because all of a sudden, first day, first evening, we're glassing, and we do pick up this good-looking boar, and we got him in the OnGlass. And I'll put some videos on that, but he was a nice chocolate-looking boar. He had some black boots too, and he was way down the bottom of this drainage, and Ryan spotted him. So Ryan and Jordan took off on a pretty long, lengthy stalk, and I stayed back with Mike to try to catch him, kind of flag you guys in the spotter, or just keep an eye on best we could. And I don't know, I'll let you take it from there. If you want.
I think from there it was probably 3.5 hours of almost constant movement, and I think 3-ish miles. But when we got over there, we waited, let him move around, and he turned up on the other side of the wash, which he must have dropped off in that cliff through like that waterfall and all that on the far side. So we got within, I think, 800, which wasn't really comfortable taking a shot like that with some winds. A little closer maybe, but and then also where it was at night for if you wound it or it drops down in the wash, we just weren't comfortable with that. So just watched it for a bit and then made our way back through so we can get back to that brush before it was pitch black. But that's the only bear we really saw in there. There was sign, but it could have just had him moving around through that whole year, but didn't see any other bears between all of us in that valley. So decided like, hey, based on where it was, kind of like cliffed out on that far side and no other real access to get to it. And there's 4 of us here. It's like we go to some spots that we've seen more bear that we eventually moved to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think at all that was a bad call. Like we were, they say you don't want to leave said animal to find said animal. But I feel like we had 4 guys behind the glass all day, all evening. We picked up, and it was a drainage that laid out to where like we had it covered. And we just saw that one bear, did our best there, and then we were excited about some other spots we had, and we knew, we could get on something else.
I think it was more so for 3 guys that haven't been up here to do it yet, was to more give everyone a shot at like the experience to like, hey, come check some stuff out and hopefully put some stalks on and see some new stuff rather than just one guy hunting for 5 days.
Right.
It's like, hey, try to get like the buddy teams like 2 and 2 going out, but with the one in there, it was kind of, hey, we didn't see much else, and usually you would see a couple more which we did later on, but
So that was day 1, and then we slept up there, packed out, and then we started bouncing around a little bit. And what we tried to do, I think it was a good idea in theory, and that's just what's tough about these bears. I mean, it's one thing to get into a good drainage. I mean, you can listen to all the podcasts and listen to all the stuff. You need some green up, you need some water in the bottom, you'll see some. Seems like where we're finding them, there's some rock cliffs, rock faces, kind of where they have had denned up, or that's just kind of like the cover that they like. Got to get away from easy access, and so it's one thing to find them there too, but then there's a whole other battle of like, can you make that stalk? Can you get in there? Can you do it without blowing them out? And sometimes it seemed like, so like day 2. We weren't really in a position to even stalk a bear if we saw one on that mountainside, but it was kind of an investment where like if we could glass them up on this big mountain on this side, because we were pretty far trying to glass there, then go make a play. So I don't know, the more I hunt out west, the more I find like a lot of the guys, they're letting their glass really do a lot of the walking.
Yeah.
Because we didn't turn up a bear glassing that big face, but I think it was a good idea in theory.
Yeah.
Where we were at for day 2.
Yeah, and then with some of that too, with like the seasonal stuff here in roads washing out, which is like, hey, you can't access this road, but some people will skirt those rules and get in there. So then it turns out there is more pressure than it was expected in these areas. But yeah, it's like if you're not glassing them up and you're not seeing them in there, and it was also pretty hot. We're a little later in May, we would have done it sooner, but with schedules for some of the guys to come out, it didn't work out. Which we saw some scouting, saw some more. When there was a little more snow out here, but yeah, it was pretty hot. It got up to like 80, so on one of the days, but and today too was pretty warm.
Yeah, it's been hot too. And then we're trying to pack up on glassing knobs and spike out and stuff. And dude, water is a factor. Like, I don't care how tough you are or anything. Like, you're either packing it in or you got to find it, and it's not always where you want it to be. Sometimes where it's at is in the very bottom where you're glassing, looking for a bear, and you don't really want to blow them out. So there's definitely been challenges on this one. The sun's probably too, holding up a lot of the animal activity as well, just because it's so dang hot.
Yeah, and that's when we've seen most of the activity too, is like on those shadowy faces with like later in the day when they're moving around. So we spent an evening glassing this big mountainside, didn't see anything. We actually had some bad haze that didn't help us out too much. But you know what? I was talking to Jordan, was it yesterday? And that evening, though, even though it was sucky glassing, we weren't seeing anything. That was just a funny moment that I'm going to think back to on the hunt, because Jordan was telling funny stories with his dad, and Mike had some funny stories like always, and we were just laughing so much. And like, I don't know, dude, I'm all about the kill. Like, I want to kill something, I want to come home with something, but I don't know. Like that glassing session was so fun, just bullshitting like that and laughing and telling stories. Like, you need those too. Yeah, and it's what gets you through like type 2 fun. You're just dudes saying funny things when you're kind of miserable or like you're angry, like, why am I not seeing anything? And then someone just says something so completely off the wall.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm just hunting. Like, I can relax.
Yeah.
But
Our buddy Mike is just like, I don't know, funny storyteller. Like we'll just be sitting there and then I was just telling him like it'll be the most random sentence that he comes out with because he's about to tell a story. And then I don't know, that's been a pick me up on this trip.
yeah, and for anyone that's watching, Mike's a prior like 75th. He's Ranger dude, so I'm sure you can imagine if you're from a military background, like how this dude talks. So
Yeah,
he's
just
funny.
real funny. So yeah, then we spent another day or two. We bomb way up this road. We kind of get way back into this area, and we had two big. You picked them up on OnX, two big north-south running ridges away from what we thought a lot of pressure, but you ended up finding some arrows in there, and it looked good, dude. It was nasty. It was thick, at least kind of where me and Jordan went off. It was real thick in that bottom, but me and Jordan glassed up a herd of elk that wasn't far from us, but we did not see any bear, and you glassed up a couple deer. No bear.
Yeah, had some elk, some deer, but some bucks up high. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing. It was pretty dry, honestly, in there, in those valleys, but not a lot of cover either in there
Mhm.
for him. So,
Yeah, that's what it seemed like too.
and it was hot.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was
It
real
was
hot.
just hot. Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely a factor too. But then finally, what we really liked was the last area we were into. We saw, obviously the most bears we've seen on this trip. So that spot I might draw a blank. We packed in, and where were we?
On the last one,
Yeah, where we were at
I
yesterday.
won't say the
Where there
area,
was
but
bears.
yeah,
I'm not gonna say the
yeah,
area,
yeah.
but
We hiked in. It was probably about, I think we climbed a little over
oh, that's right.
2,000 feet
Yeah.
in about 2.5, I guess, straight line, 2.5, 3 miles, and then got up pretty high and saw quite a bit of bear up in there and some later in the day too. But
Yeah.
starting that one, we went in somewhat light because we didn't have much time left and we wanted to check the area out. In hindsight, we could have spiked in and stayed up there, and then,
Yeah.
then we shifted to try something else too because we didn't see too many boars, but saw a lot of sows with cubs up there. So
Yeah. So, and that was the other thing too. You never really know. Is it worth, going up there and spiking out or climbing back down to the truck? So from there, we were truck camping, which again can be very beneficial. People kill them like that all the time. Seeing the amount of bear we did see might have been worth. Everything's hindsight's 2020, spiking out up there, but we didn't have water, and I don't know. I mean, it's always like I said, 2020. I'm not gonna beat ourselves up from that, but still, even then, we saw a bear, but we saw two sets of sows with cubs, one like top and bottom of each other, way just in deep in this canyon, and then we saw, well, Mike saw the alleged. He said it was a light cinnamon boar
yeah,
that
he swears. He
nobody
swears by
else
it.
saw.
Yeah.
But no, we'll give it to him. I mean, that was tough. I mean, think about though, like what would have been the play? I mean, some of this country is so steep too, and I like, I'm never one to say we can't or something's impossible to get to, but it definitely would have been.
It was
You,
late.
you would have had to put a plan on for the next day.
Yeah, to pattern it for the next day. It was just too late. There's no way we would have made it over there in
No.
time. You have to
Uh-uh.
go probably a 4 mile movement at least, and then drop a couple thousand feet, and then get back up in there.
Yeah. So that was right as the sun was going down, and it was on a east face, so the sun's going down in the west, and that sun immediately just was blinding us, and we had a good 30 minutes. You couldn't even like see anything through your spotter right where he saw that bear, and then when it went down, we just could not pick it back up, and it was on the move, but it looked like a good looking boar. And the other boar we saw earlier in the week, I mean, that was 2 o'clock. Like that wasn't that late.
It was really, yeah, I think we started at like 10. It was like
Mhm.
10:30 because then when we moved, yeah, it took a while to get through
Yeah.
that heat and that brush, and then got over there and hung out for a bit, and then popped back up around 7:30, just too far on the other side of the cliff face over there. So
Yeah, and then this boar was more towards the last light. The sows and cubs were all around that 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock time frame. And I don't know if this is a rule, but I'm just trying to learn as much as I can as we're out here looking at bears. It makes sense that a sow with cubs, especially this time of year as the rut is coming up. This is what something Mark Livesey said in a previous episode, that those boars, when the rut's coming and there's a sow and cubs nearby, like that boar will go over there, try to kill those cubs for that sow to come and heat. So it kind of makes sense if a sow has cubs, she's got to get those cubs feed. They're going to come out a little bit earlier, do all their browsing and everything, and maybe try to get out before those boars come out at last light. I don't know if that's a rule, but it kind of makes
Yeah, it
sense.
makes sense to me. Yeah, if
Yeah.
Luke said it, I'll go with his word. That guy knows what he's doing. So
Yeah, yeah. So that was neat. So technically, we've seen 4 cubs, 2 sows, 2 boars. So that's 8 bears, technically. Um, but
then last night here, so we'll see just elk so far.
right, we are definitely not saying we're wrapping up or giving it up. Honestly, I feel really excited about this spot, and it's 5:22 right now. And that's the other thing too. These days are long, so sunsets at 9:12.
Yeah, especially if you're from the east, you come out here and it gets dark at 10.
Yeah, yeah. So it makes sense that guys say, they do a lot in the evening. It's not necessarily probably morning is the worst thing, but you gotta we got late nights. We're eating our peak refuels at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And oh, I forgot to say too, like we spent I won't, obviously say where we're at, but when we came out of that one spot where we didn't see any bears after a couple of days, and I love this attitude. I mean, but props to you because I was dozing off in the back. We got back to camp at 10:30, and we were like, we're gonna move. We're gonna get out of this whole area. Predominantly just too dry. We saw the one bear, and then that's when we bounced to the other spot where we saw multiple bears in that drainage. But I forgot. I wanted to mention that, like, it's it's been a grind in that way. So we pulled into that new spot at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
Two,
2, 3, somewhere in there.
yeah, and I don't know how Ryan did it. Just flew up these roads. I was dozing off in the back, but needed a I needed a white monster. That's what I would
Yeah,
have
those
needed.
white chinas.
White Chinas. They've
Yeah,
been,
you got to call those audibles sometimes. If you got
yeah,
a white china, that'll get you there.
yeah. But seriously, like you think about that, like it's like it's funny how days can be so long, and like you got hours behind the glass, and you have so many moments where it's like, man, you're just sitting all day. But then it's those snap decisions like that, and then sure, drive a couple hours in the night, might be a little tired the next day, but that sets you up again for, your next spot where it's like if we didn't do that, I don't know, we might have lost another evening. So it's almost like again, these days are so long, but it's like almost like a game of seconds in a way too.
Yeah.
Like if you got to bounce, bounce. Like
Yeah, if it's not working, you got to be able to flex and try something new,
mm,
especially when you have people you're trying to like get them on stuff too. And it's a learning experience, so we can all learn. I mean, I'm still learning. I'm new to Idaho, but been out here before and I mean, lived here for the past since August, so it's not like I know everything about this
mm,
area or bear hunting in general. But yeah, it's okay to flex sometimes, and
mm,
everyone's attitude was all for it.
yep,
Everyone's all about the type 2 fun, so it
yeah,
just comes down to like, yeah, we'll drive for 4 hours and go somewhere new
yeah.
tonight and wake up at I don't know
Break
three
down all the
hours
tents
after.
and
Yeah, break
leave
them
them
out
around.
and go
Yeah,
going down, which was nice
yeah,
actually. Good to go drive.
hmm,
But yeah,
yeah.
it worked out. We saw some more, and I mean, it's not a failure. We know a lot
No,
for like next year and some spots we should start
100%.
with probably sooner in the season. So,
Yeah,
and yeah, made some new friendships, met some new buddies out here. So now you meet my friends, and
yeah.
yeah, I know you guys will start doing hunts together and
Oh,
maybe
for sure.
bringing your podcast stuff up to 2,000 feet
Yeah,
gains and
yeah. But no, that was a good audible there. So then we finally, so then today we did just kind of bounce around. So I mean, it's tough. There, Idaho, for the most part. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of areas in Idaho, but a lot of access. You might see a bunch of two-track roads on OnX, but they're not all built the same. Some are, very much accessible and some aren't. So there's areas where, we wanted to go see, but, either a road's closed or a road really doesn't exist, or it's all washed out, or it's really just like a dirt bike road. So that's other challenges that we've definitely faced. But we spent some time classing other faces, and then Ryan found an area on the map. He says, I think we can kind of bushwhack up here. And we did. And I mean, I like it, dude. I think it's definitely worth it. And we saw, we've been, yeah, so we've been seeing elk and deer, which has been cool. And we just glassed up one, I guess it was a cow just by herself.
yeah,
Yeah. So glassed her up. And then now we're just still glassing, still waiting on a nice lone boar to come out here in gun range and make it happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, I think it's kind of been the trip so far. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about OnGlass? So this is kind of like the first trip I've been running everything with it. I've really liked it, dude. I mean, I think it's really easy to install. I've used other Digiscope adapters in the past. My family has used some other ones. I've seen the pros and cons of all of them, but I'm I'm not just saying this or whatever, but I've really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, so OnGlass started in 2022. Zach Adams, the founder of it, he's a combat controller. Again, he's currently deployed right now. So yeah, so essentially what he did was he was using he's a big time hunter, so hunts a lot out here. Ran into some issues with like changing phone cases and doing all that. And he's like, I think I can come up with something on my own that maybe is a better idea. So he's an engineer, so he put some things together, and what he came up with currently is the OG 3.0, which you can see here on Weston's. So I'm not sure you can pick it up on the camera, but
Yeah.
can go with mine as well. So what you'll get in like an OG3 kit is you'll get a spacer and a ring. So the rings are universal to all of the spacers, and the spacers will fit the specific optic. So for this specific optic, it takes a Charlie spacer. So you can mount it by leaving the spacer on, or you can leave the spacer on the optic and then change the ring. So if you have one for your for example, spotter and one for your binos, they're different. You just have one ring and it can work with either spacer. So for this one, for example, how it would work is how I put them on is I like to have mine off to the side. Again, we have like covers with them as well. So I'll put it off to the side so I can use it in, I guess, landscape mode.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back of the phone, you have a mag tab. So the mag tab just can be sealed to the back of your phone. We'll use double-sided adhesive and sticks on, and we use it comes with it when you buy it, but an adapter tool that you can line up this with the camera specific to your or the camera specific to your phone, which is all on the website on OnGlassAdapter.com. It'll show you, but it's on the packaging as well. You can use the QR code and see how to follow the instructions for it. But we also have this year, we're going to be launching in June, is what we noticed at Sheep Show was a lot of people were asking about the MagSafe in the back of their phone. So I've had this in the back of my phone. I had no idea what it was for until people kept saying it's for like a magnet charger. So it seemed like a good idea to make something that adapts to that, since most people have it, and I had no idea what it was for. So you can mount the mag tab directly to your phone, or coming up in June or July, you can just take the MagSafe backer, mount it to your phone, and then you can have the mag tab on that. So then you can just remove this if you don't want it, and you can still go back to your MagSafe items. But with that, when it's lined up on here, on the optic, it's got like a rectangle magnet here.
And I will just say too, I don't have that. All I did was
just glued on.
Glue it on, because this is just a regular rubber phone case, and then glued it on. So
you can either one. You can use that. You can use the adhesive, glue whatever you want to do with it, but it comes with the adhesive to mount it on there and the tool. So when you throw it on, you'll put your camera on your video. I use the 2x, and I can zoom in from it, and you'll long hold the camera. It'll say on your camera, it'll be in yellow, it'll say AF lock, so autofocus lock, so it won't jump lenses. And when you put it on, you line up the mag tab rectangle on the rectangle here, and it will, you can turn this to me, auto align right away. Let me get this thing tightened up first. So with that, it'll lock on right away, so you can remove it, and then once you put on the rectangle, it's auto aligned and you can start recording. So the main thing that we wanted to work on and that Zach built was making something that doesn't require a separate case. It's small, you can remove it now with the MagSafe, but it also auto aligns, and it's super lightweight. So the auto alignment, we think, and the system we have is what we prefer, and there's a lot out there too, so you can pick which one you like best, but we prefer our own, obviously. So but yeah, that's the adapter kit, and then we have more stuff on the website as well that you can take a look at.
Yeah, awesome. And then so pretty much cover all spotting scopes and binoculars, and
Yeah. And on the website, it'll have two. It'll have sizing compatibility. So when you go on there, you can pick your specific optic, and it'll tell you the spacer that fits for it. If your optic for some reason isn't listed, it'll show you the measurement, which all it is on the optic is you'll measure the diameter of the eyepiece, and that diameter in inches is what you'll order for that spacer, but it's also listed on there, so you can just take a measuring tape, measure it, get that, and then order that spacer. But most optics are listed, and as you send them in, if we don't have it, if you just hit us up on the email with the measurements, we can add that to it as well. And for whatever reason, if your spacer doesn't fit, we'll do free exchanges. So just tell us like, hey, it doesn't fit. We'll send you a new one so you can get it back in your optic.
Yeah. And the only other thing too, because I was always hesitant of this for different cases and stuff, but that's what I like. I like that you don't have to buy a whole new case. Some are, they extend way out on the phone, and it's kind of like funny to put in your pocket and other things, but I basically kind of forget that this is there. And just having the magnet on the back of my phone, there was a time when I was looking at bino harnesses, and I didn't want a magnet on my bino harness because I was afraid it would mess up like the compass orientation on my phone when I'm looking at OnX and things like that. So I got a bino harness without a magnet. When I put this magnet on my phone, I thought maybe that could throw some things off or something, but I can attest, I've done it a bunch of times, and especially on this hunt. The other night, I was walking back alone in the dark off a mountain, and I was using, the directional arrow that's obviously tied with the compass on OnX, getting to my next waypoint and back down to camp. And long way of saying, does not affect anything on the phone from what I can tell. So like that's a non-issue if anybody's curious about that, having the magnet on the back here.
For sure. Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah, no, I'm just because that was something I had thought of that people might be weary of, but no, it's definitely been a non-issue. Yeah, I like it. And the other thing I was telling you too, I like the fact that, I'd like to post a lot of reels. I like to record OnGlass and, digiscoping video for YouTube. So like when I put mine on, it's real easy to get it in my landscape view. And then when I want to do like a video, like an Instagram reel, just kind of turn everything, and then I can get like that shot vertically too. So it's kind of like easy to go like back and forth if you're I don't know, I guess I'll call myself a creator at this point, but yeah, no, it's been really good. I like it, and you guys are all, everybody involved, military?
Yep. Yeah, we're actually all combat controllers that are in the company, so.
Awesome. So people can definitely go check that out. I'll put some links in the podcast to the website. I don't know, OnGlass, they have social media presence, Instagram, OnGlass, what is it, .com?
Yeah, OnGlassAdapter.com.
Okay.
So you can find those on there, so.
Awesome. That's OnGlass. Definitely want to talk about that. And then I think, I don't know, we recap the bear hunt. Hopefully we pick up another bear here. I guess. Also, dude, I don't know. I just wanted to say, I think this is a great camp. Really appreciate the invite. Had a hell of a time. If we get something at this point, it would just be, a bonus. And it's just been fun. It's fun to get around like-minded guys, good attitudes in camp. And, yeah, just, I don't know. It's just love being in the mountains, dude. Idaho, these western states, just beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome out here. Yeah, and I appreciate you coming out. It's what we were talking about before. Guys you asked to come out from like your hometown or like up in that area, and they say they want to, and then it turns out like years later they just never come out. But yours was immediate, like, hey, you want to come out? Like, yeah, I'll look at flights now. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And then you're out here, and now we're doing this hunt, and then we're planning our next hunt. So yeah, it's awesome. It added someone to the camp that like gives value to the team, that like helps out. So yeah, it's been fun, man.
I try to be conscious of that. I try to and I'm not saying I'm perfect or have it all figured out or whatever, but when I try to go to places, I'm with a team or, working on a project at work or something, like I don't want to be like, I always think of like assets and liabilities, you hear a lot about that like in business or whatever, but like I just try to be an asset. So if like everybody's just trying to be an asset in the team, that's just going to take everybody further. I don't know. That's what I think. I think it's been really fun. I enjoyed the conversation we had coming off the mountain where we were kind of talking about that after the first spot, and kind of just said everybody just having each other's back, team first. I don't know. I think don't want to be the guy in camp that is just kind of out doing his own thing. Team first. I think that's really that's key. And then, okay, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But no, the other thing we were talking about in that conversation too was, so just booked the flight, came out here. I didn't have it all figured out. And that's also what we were talking about in the conversation is a lot of people might not want to, like from back east, they might not want to come out on a hunt or do their first elk hunt or their first whatever because they want to have like every step of the plan figured out before they buy the plane ticket or buy the elk tag or buy the house or start the LLC or something like, I don't know, apply it to all things, but that's really not how it works. Like this kind of what we were talking about. You kind of have to like just jump into it. Sure. Like get a plan. There's so much, like you're trying to figure shit out on the plan that you haven't even got there yet. Like there's information that you haven't figured out that you're going to use to get there.
You have to go. You can have a good idea. You have to go, but having a plan obviously is, you need to have that, but you need to make mistakes. And you got to go out and just do it so you know the things that you need for next time.
Right.
It's like nobody's started their first one and had everything they need. You see every year someone's posting their new, like, hey, this is what I'm packing. It's like they're constantly like altering their gear. Or like when you're doing deployments, people are always changing their kit. Like every year they're always like changing one small thing or let's completely alter the next year. So yeah, you got to be able to be flexible and like change what you have if it's not working for you, but you really have to go out and you have to be okay with failing and then like fixing that. You can't just like think that the first time you go is going to be absolutely perfect, because it absolutely will not be.
Right.
It's not going to be at all. So you got to be okay with like failure and like doing bad, but you just have to go do it. Just like commit and do it. But which you did coming out here. So even though you haven't been to this area, you just packed what you could. It's like learning how to fly with all that stuff and like what you need for this area specifically versus like Colorado, like Wyoming, wherever you're going to go to. So, well, yeah, just like committing to something. And then when you're with the team, it's like helping out the team, even if you are struggling. It's like, don't be the guy that's like the negative bump on the log. It's like, you'll bring everyone down with you. It's like, just have a good attitude. Because like you're all going through the same stuff together. Just make it fun. You're just hunting. Like you're just hunting with your friends. So
Yeah.
you only get so many opportunities to do this. So.
Yeah. And something we talked about too that I've been like keeping front of mind, it's been helping me, I don't know, is just like kind of focusing on just the task, like breaking things down, not thinking about like, man, we got a pin like way up on this mountain and like this hike is suck and the sun is just like, it's just hot and like it sucks, but just being like task and narrowly focused, like we're just hiking to this next spot, like just focusing on this next thing. And like you mentioned in that conversation we had coming off that first mountain when guys training in the military, like that's a big key of it is kind of keeping a level head. Like when you did you're talking about like the underwater training. It's more so who can just tell themselves like, okay, like you're fine. You're fine. Like you're not dying. Like you're fine. I just feel like that can be applied to a lot of things with backcountry hunting.
Just stress
Obviously,
management.
just stress management. Yeah. Like a lot of like, hiking back in the dark. Like, you just got to tell yourself like you're fine. Or just hiking up a big hill. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's just just stress management. Like when things are going bad, it's like, hey, don't think about like how bad this feels. Just don't go back to your instincts. Go to like solving tasks. Like think of what you can do to work through this problem. So that's like the best mindset to have out here is like, it starts raining. It's not to sit there and be like, oh, I'm getting wet. It's like, all right, well, I guess I can just get to cover and then come up with a plan from there, how I get out of this, or just set up my shelter or just tough it out because it's just rain.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just rain. But like, don't let the problem that you're dealing with like consume you. It's like, think about what you can do next. Like think common sense that can help the team too. It's like, hey, we can just go under this tree for a minute and just get our stuff out, get our rain gear on, figure this out. So it's not just like, oh no, I must leave the mountain because of this. It's just like, hey, slow it down, like come up with like basic plans that you guys can solve it together.
Yeah. But breaking it down. Small little bites.
Yeah.
The elephant. Yeah. Same thing with running an ultra marathon. Like I don't run all that like in my head like at one time. And if you get to mile 30 of 70 or whatever, you don't think about the next 40, you just think about the next one. Like that's all. And just narrowingly focusing on the micro versus the macro. I don't know. I just see that applied to a lot of things, and yeah, I like it. I don't know.
Yeah. One step at a time. Just one step at a time and don't panic.
Yeah, that's all. So, I don't know. I think the task right now though is we got to find a bear.
Yeah, it's going to be about that time.
Yeah, it is getting to be about that time. So it's 5:40 and got a couple hours. I mean, we got a few hours of light left, but I don't know. It seems like we got a little bit of overcast. You never know. But I don't know. Like I said, I think this has been an awesome trip. Glad I came. Hopefully we turn up a bear here. We still got a few more hours. And I don't know. Anything else? Again, I just want to thank you. Thank you for the invite. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
No.
Before we wrap up?
No, that's it.
All right, guys. Check out OnGlass. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And yeah, we will keep you updated. Hopefully we get a bear or something. We got wolf tags too. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The wolf came out. But hopefully we get something here. And thanks for listening. We'll wrap up and catch you next time. All right, Ryan. Thanks, dude. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
See you.
All right, this was fun. See ya. Hey, if you liked that episode, please share it with a friend, share it on your story, and give the podcast a rating and a review on wherever you listen. For more of this type of content, you can head over to the YouTube channel and follow along on all the social platforms. Really appreciate it. See you on the mountain.